Sleep remedies are strange things. Some people swap them like hockey cards, while others hoard them like secret treasures. I've tried many over the years. Exercise, meditation, tea before bed, leaving the television on, but none have worked. Then it came to me last fall. I didn't seek it out, it just happened. For 3 blissful, sleep-filled months. I never told anyone about it, not even my parents, especially not my parents. His name was Neil. He was an undergrad at Ryerson, and I met him at a used bookstore on Yonge Street. He was looking for used film textbooks because he couldn't afford to pay for new ones. He accidentally dropped a heavy volume on my foot and was taken aback when I didn't scream or make any other sign of acknowledgement. Didn't that hurt? I don't know, I'll have to get back to you on that, I told him. He wasn't a bad-looking guy, but the thing that attracted me most was that he didn't leave right after we had sex. I had been told by girls at school that this is what guys do, and that the way to tell which guy you'll end up marrying was to find the one that stays the whole night. I had no interest in marrying Neil. The sex was good, but the sleep was better. He could nod off right after we finished, and I could feel myself being pulled after him, as if there was an invisible anchor wrapped around me and I had no choice but to follow. I kept him a secret from everyone, partly because I was ashamed to tell anyone that the solution to my sleeplessness was sex, but mostly because it felt good to have a secret. The details of my sleeping life were known to everyone in my family. This was something for me and only me. Neil ended up leaving on his own, saying something about feeling guilty, him being 21, me being only 16. I was upset, but more at the loss of the sleep than the sex. I never held it against him. He helped me find my sleep switch. Finding it was a mixed blessing. It's like having an itch you can scratch, but you better not. It might turn into something worse, like gonorrhea. I decided it wasn't a good idea just to sleep with someone so I could sleep. We could go a long time without sleep. We can go an even longer time without sex. Or maybe I was just afraid of ending up at Vista House. Each building at camp is painted a different shade of blue, the color of sleep. And my last class of the day is in the cerulean cabin. The roof has rounded eaves that make it look like a giant toadstool. The kids call it the Smurf House. Inside, the furniture consists of recliners and beanbag chairs, futons and inflatable sofas, and endless piles of blankets and pillows, all of which have been pushed off to the side to make room for the yoga mats. Teaching yoga to little kids is like trying to teach a tornado to stand still. I try to be patient, but it isn't easy. Sleeplessness causes irritability, and by the end of the class, I can go from 0 to bitch in about 3 seconds. After the kids are gone, headed to Periwinkle Lodge for dinner, I stay behind to pick up the mats and put the furniture back. Once I'm done, I lock up the cabin and sit on the porch steps. Looking across the campground at the sun setting behind the trees, the light is a hard golden color, a nice change from all the blue. Becky Riley walks by swinging a bow and carrying a quiver of arrows on her back. She's wearing a shell top that shows off her skinny, freckled arms. Sup, sister? Not much. You going to dinner? Maybe, I don't know. Beanie weenies tonight, yum. Becky rubs her stomach then sticks a finger in her mouth. I think I'll pass. I hear that. I think I'd rather eat some mushrooms in the forest and take my chances. How's archery going? Oh, fine. I wish I was doing crafts this year. I'd have those kids making wallets or something. Get a little sweatshop going. There's always next year. True enough. Who came up with the idea of using archery to help insomnia? Becky looks at the bow in her hand as if seeing it for the first time. Well, whatever it takes, right? Right. I'm like Robin Hood, and the kids are my merry men. Power in numbers, baby. That makes me laugh for no real reason. It's like Becky touched on something profound without realizing it. We don't come to camp to be cured. We come to be among other zombies, to keep each other company through the long, lonely nights. No two zombies are alike. One year I met a girl named Alice who couldn't fall asleep unless she was on a moving train. She had been born on a train, and this, she believed, was the root of her sleeplessness. Her father was a successful Bay Street lawyer, and one of his drinking buddies was a bigwig at Via Rail. Together they arranged for Alice to spend most of her time on the Canadian, which runs between Toronto and Vancouver. Her father paid a tutor to travel with her, had clothes and care packages delivered at various stops along the way, and that's how she lived, always in motion, always on her way somewhere else. If the train girl had the strangest sleep disorder I ever heard of, Mark had the nastiest. Night terrors. A sleep disorder which causes the subject to experience extreme terror and a temporary inability to regain consciousness. It's like drowning in your sleep. No, it's actually like being attacked by sharks in your sleep. It's like a condition that usually affects people with nervous dispositions, but that didn't describe Mark at all. He was laid back, funny, and possessed with the sort of obnoxious overconfidence that only teenage boys and professional daredevils can get away with. He stays in the Screaming Shack, which is painted midnight blue and is soundproofed, especially for zombies with night terrors. A sign next to the door says, "Don't lose any sleep over it." I read it several times as I stand on the stoop. It's not a terribly funny sign, amusing at best, but I laugh anyway. Zombies are masters of the delayed response. As I raise my hand to knock, the door opens and Mark is standing there, looking at me with raised eyebrows. "Callie? Was that you laughing?" "Yeah. What's funny?" "Me, you, this." I shrug my shoulders and Mark's eyebrows go higher, almost disappearing into his shaggy brown hair. "Second thoughts?" "I'm here, aren't I?" "Yes." He abruptly steps aside to let me in, as if worried I might change my mind and bolt. I enter the shack. It's a single room with a wood stove, a small kitchenette, and a bed pushed up against the far wall. The only light comes from a single lamp on a nightstand. Mark is dressed for bed in flannel pants and the "Don't Fear the Sleeper" t-shirt he made in the silk screening class he's teaching this year. "I swear I won't try anything funny," he says as we get across to the bed. "It's only a double, which means we'll be lying close to each other." He notices the book in my hand. I hold it up. It's a Stephen King hardcover, almost as big as a phone book. "Don't worry," I tell him. "If you make any moves, I'll just drop this on your crotch." "Fair enough," he says, and crawls under the covers. I sit on the other side, lift my legs up. I hesitate a moment, then slip them under the sheets. "So," he says. "So," I say back. "Pleasant dreams." He laughs. "Yeah, right." Mark rolls onto his side. His elbow brushes my arm and he apologizes. I tell him it's okay and open my book. I try to focus my eyes, but the words seem to be surrounded by dark auras that make them hard to read. I have to blink several times to get through each page. The auras expand as I read until at one point everything is swallowed in one enormous black cloud. I try to see through it, but there's a pressure building inside me, pulling me down. I struggle against it, and when I open my eyes, I realize I've been asleep. I'm shocked at how simple it is. This thing everyone else takes for granted. One moment you're awake, the next you're waking up. I've been asleep, and I'm no longer holding the book. I'm holding Mark. Curled up next to him, my arms wrapped around his middle. My head is pressed against his back, and I can feel the rise and fall of his breathing. There are no straight lines in sleep. People curl into commas, nestled together like spoons in a kitchen drawer. There is comfort in curves, more comfort than I expected. I'll just lie here, I tell myself. I won't do anything. Mark is asleep, and I don't want to wake him up.